Midway to my mouth, the fork halted as turkey steam rose, golden and shimmering. My mother avoided eye contact, instead continuing to carve through her thigh piece, seemingly unaffected by the emotional explosion she'd triggered. "It's time for you to move out," she echoed. My knuckles tightened beneath the table. I swallowed, finished my bite. "You mean it?" I inquired, maintaining a composed tone. "I cover the rent, the bills, and groceries." She nonchalantly replied, "Yes." I refrained from arguing, didn't seek an explanation, understanding the futility. In a household where silence and tension reigned supreme, fury led to no constructive results. The subsequent morning, I was gone, having packed my belongings into 2 suitcases, leaving the key on the counter. No message, no farewell, just vacancy. Yet, I departed without being empty-handed. We weren't always this way. When Dad passed away, it was only her and me left. I was 16. She crumbled. Loss hardened her, making her brittle and sharp around the edges. I did what needed to be done, working after school, generating income, preparing dinner, paying the water bill, learning to smile without reciprocation. She boasted to everyone about my goodness and responsibility. This praise soon faded when I didn't follow her friends' children to college. However, someone had to take care of the household and pay the bills. She switched from calling me daughter to roommate. Amusing how titles hold no significance when all the money is mine. Nevertheless, I stayed. Perhaps out of loyalty or guilt, or perhaps hoping she would be proud of me someday. It wasn't until 2 weeks before Christmas that I suspected something. I arrived home early from work due to a broken freezer causing an early closure. I walked in and heard laughter upstairs. 2 voices, hers and a man's. Not a date, but her brother, my uncle. I barely recognized his voice as it had been years since we last spoke, following a heated dispute over inheritance. They hadn't spoken since then, or so I believed. "She still thinks you're struggling financially, right?" he joked. "You make her work double shifts for what? Rent on a house you own." My heart skipped a beat. "Hey," she chuckled, her laugh tinged with mockery. "I'm not crafting this situation. If she wishes to contribute, let her." A hush settled in me. Only cold, piercing clarity remained. I retreated, leaving the door ajar behind me. My name wasn't on the title deed. Yet, I was the one who paid the installments. Each cent. I had been supporting her. The pain came first, followed by humiliation, and finally determination. I didn't weep. Instead, I researched. It transpired that she'd remortgaged the house 3 years ago, securing a favorable rate. Then, she took out another loan last year, solely in her name. She used this money to settle her debts, purchase new furnishings, spa treatments, and clothing I never saw her wear. Meanwhile, I was recycling shampoo bottles to conserve them. I didn't accuse her. Instead, I observed. Sometimes, her phone would remain unlocked. It was during these moments that I discovered the message to my cousin. "Once she's departed, I'll list the house for sale. The market should be high. I'll stay with you for a while after. Perhaps Mexico next year." She already had a buyer waiting. I captured everything on screenshots, downloaded call logs, emails, bank statements from our shared router cache. Thought she might consider me foolish. Allowed it. In the dead of night, I opened her closet safe where she kept her valuable items, knowing the code was her wedding anniversary date. Inside, I found a folder labeled Title and Transfer Property. Made duplicates, secured them in my work bag, sealed within plastic. Then began the task. Called a lawyer acquainted through a coworker who had a debt owed to me. His child had been caught shoplifting, which I didn't report. The lawyer helped draft a formal notice of tenancy and financial records, stating that if she claimed poverty while cashing my rent, she was committing fraud. Smiled at the thought. Let her attempt eviction or, as the lawyer suggested, I could act first. Christmas arrived, I waited for it. Knew she wouldn't refuse the dramatic touch. She served dinner with pomp. Allowed her to make her speech, tasted her power. Then left, silently and calmly. I hadn't banged a door or shouted. Instead, I entered a condo, my own, bought under my name. 2 days later, she received a letter from the IRS. He had falsely claimed me as a dependent and made false deductions. I anonymously reported this with evidence. Subsequently, the utilities were shut off since I was the only account holder. I canceled everything then. Next came a lawsuit from the Landlord Association. It turned out she couldn't rent rooms without a license. A minor oversight, perhaps. The final blow? I contacted the buyer she had arranged. I informed him about the liens on the house, hidden debts, and fraud. He withdrew his offer. She called me only once. "You ruined me," she said, her voice shaking. "No," I replied. "You did that when you began viewing me as a burden rather than your daughter." She didn't respond. I let the silence linger before ending the call. People often think revenge requires heat and anger, but mine was icy, precise, clinical. She stole years from me. I claimed all of them back. Now, I dine undisturbed. Lights illuminated, expenses covered, no one lurking to undermine me. Strangely, she was the one who taught me to endure. I didn't expect I would endure her. It's tragic, almost poetic. She wished me gone, so I departed, ensuring her vacancy would sting like an unhealed wound. Kindly click, like, subscribe, and spread my tale.